Lewis Hamilton is really leaving Mercedes and heading to Ferrari. It's the news that Formula One fans never expected to hear, but it seems like very soon we're going to be seeing Hamilton in the bright red of the Scuderia. So let's take a look at why this happened, who might replace Lewis at Mercedes, as well as how it's going to impact Carlos Sainz. Why is Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari? February started off with some pretty sensational news when it was revealed that Lewis Hamilton would be driving for Ferrari in 2025. Yes, you heard that right. Hamilton is actually going to be driving for Ferrari next year. At the time of writing, the two parties are in advanced negotiations and there could be a formal announcement by the time this video comes out. By the sounds of it, Hamilton will partner Charles Leclerc, and there have been some rumours that Lewis could even drive for Ferrari this season. This is a move that very few people saw coming. Lewis has been linked with Ferrari for more than a decade, with a 7-time world champion saying that he would love to drive for the Scuderia before he retires. Lewis grew up watching Michael Schumacher dominate the sport in a Ferrari, so you can understand his want to drive for the team. But the rumours have never been more than that. Now, Lewis is seemingly having one final season with Mercedes before he makes that dream a reality. But there is a lot more to it than just Hamilton's childhood ambitions. While Lewis was heavily criticised for his move from McLaren to Mercedes in 2013, it turned out to be an incredibly smart one, as it came just as the team started producing title-winning cars. Any issues that Lewis might have had with the team in those first 7 years would be overshadowed by winning. Even when Lewis felt like he was being harshly treated compared to teammate Nico Rosberg, there was no way that he would leave the fastest car on the grid. But since falling just short of a record-breaking title in 2021, Mercedes have fallen off the pace massively. The W13 was a pretty poor car, with Mercedes winning just one race. But the team had their first winless season in more than a decade in 2023. Lewis had to watch on as Red Bull won almost every single race across the entire season. Porpoising has been a big issue for the team, and it has cost Mercedes any sort of chance at being a real threat. While Mercedes did improve over the second half of the season, they still finished with the lowest points tally since finishing second in 2013. Lewis spent most of the season speaking about how unhappy he was with the car and the improvements that the team needed to make. Lewis just turned 39, so we know that he does not have a very long future in the sport anymore. He's going to need to start winning soon if he wants that record-breaking 8th Drivers' Championship title. Lewis knows that Red Bull are going to be incredibly difficult to beat over the next few years. There is a good chance that Lewis must have been unhappy about the progress the team has made over the winter. Maybe he sees that Mercedes won't be competitive again in 2024, and so he'll be entering his 40s with a team that are off the pace. Ferrari is certainly an interesting team for Lewis to jump to. Fans have already pointed out that Mercedes finished above the Italian team in the standings last season, but you don't have to look into the details much to see that Ferrari seemed to be in a better position to win. For one thing, Ferrari were the only team to dethrone Red Bull at any time during last season, with Carlos Sainz being the only non-Red Bull driver to win a race. Ferrari were often hamstrung not by the car's poor performance and pace, but by the bad decisions the team were making on strategy. That is a much easier fix than the technical issues that Mercedes are facing. Merc don't seem to be moving in the right direction, while Ferrari certainly seem like they have a lot more of an ability to win races. It is a risky move for Ferrari, but one that could put him back into title contention. There is certainly going to be a lot of fallout from this massive move from Hamilton. Silly season seems to have started early, and so let's take a look at the drivers this move could affect. What could happen to Carlos Sainz? One man who must have been particularly frustrated by the move is Carlos Sainz. Despite winning last season, it seemed like Ferrari were not interested in bringing him back for the long term. Rumours about the team only offering the Spaniard a short-term contract seem to make a lot more sense now. With Sainz's contract expiring at the end of the 2024 season, it seems like this year will be his last for Ferrari. So what happens to Sainz, considering he will be 30 by the end of the season? You would think that Carlos would be an attractive prospect for almost any team, considering his brilliant track record over the last few years. The rumours were circulating that Sainz would be leaving the team long before Lewis was set to sign with Ferrari. There are going to be some interesting possibilities on the table for Sainz at the end of this season. Considering he will want a top team, Sainz could make this move a direct swap by heading straight into Hamilton's old seat with Mercedes. Toto Wolff could see Sainz as a driver with podium experience who could help the young and still raw George Russell develop. he is a great option. Another rumor which has been around for a while is that Sainz could be the face of Audi entering Formula 1. We know that they are taking over Sauber as their works team, and Sainz could make the move early prior to Audi taking over. It would give him his own team, which he could mold and control. Maybe Aston Martin sees the opportunities in front of them and decides that it's finally time to move on from Lance Stroll. An all-Spanish driver lineup would be incredibly interesting to see. Sainz has shown that he can get the best out of front-running cars and could do the exact same for Lawrence Stroll's team. Where do Mercedes look? Replacing Lewis Hamilton is certainly an impossible job for Mercedes. It is literally impossible for Mercedes to bring in anyone with as much experience and success in the sport as Hamilton, but they could be eyeing up someone who knows Lewis extremely well. Fernando Alonso has reportedly been in contact with Mercedes about the seat that is opening up. Experience is certainly going to be important considering how inexperienced George Russell is. There are few people in F1 history with as much experience at the top level as Alonso. Mercedes will worry about his age, as Alonso is going to be 43 at the end of the 2024 season, but he is still performing extremely well, picking up 8 podiums last year and finishing 4th in the drivers' standings. His dominance over Lance Stroll shows Fernando can still compete at the front. If the team want to look at the long term a little more, then there are some good options out there. Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly have both been extremely impressive since leaving Red Bull. Both are still young in Formula 1 terms and could be the perfect fit for Mercedes alongside Russell. Mercedes need to make the right decision if they want to get back to competing against Red Bull. Was it the right decision? Lewis Hamilton will hope this move will help him compete against Christian Horner's team again. He certainly believes that Ferrari give him a better opportunity of doing that. There is no doubt that the teams seem to have the design of the car in a better position than Mercedes do, particularly as they are not completely changing things this off-season like Toto Wolff's team are. Ferrari seemed to be better positioned to make a push at Red Bull in the next few years. It seems like Lewis is slightly less interested in having total control over his team and is more focused on winning right now. In terms of whether this move was the right one, we'll have to wait and see. It certainly is risky to move from the team that gave you a championship-winning car year after year to their direct rivals who haven't won a championship in a very long time. In a few years' time, we should know whether this was the right move or not. But what do you think about Lewis Hamilton's shocking move to Ferrari? Why not put your thoughts in the comments below? And while you're down there, hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.